My wife wiped out our son's college fund and ran off with her boyfriend. I was crushed until my 10-year-old son grinned and said, "Dad, it's fine. I fixed everything." 2 days later, she called in a blind panic after discovering that my wife emptied our son's college fund and disappeared with her boyfriend. I was destroyed, standing in our kitchen, staring at a bank statement showing zero where there should have been $127,000. But then my 10-year-old son looked up at me with this strange grin and said, "Dad, it's fine. I fixed everything." 2 days later, my wife called in absolute panic. And what my son had done changed everything. My name is Andrew Mitchell. I'm 38 years old, and up until 3 months ago, I thought I had a pretty good handle on my life. I ran a small accounting firm in suburban Minneapolis. Nothing fancy, but steady work that paid the bills and then some. My wife Jessica was a dental hygienist, worked part-time at Dr. Richardson's practice downtown. We had our son Tyler, who just turned 10 last spring. Smart kid, too smart sometimes for his own good. The morning everything fell apart started like any other Tuesday. I made Tyler's breakfast, scrambled eggs and toast, while Jessica rushed around getting ready for work. She'd been distant lately, always on her phone, taking calls in other rooms, staying late at the office for inventory that somehow never seemed to end. I'd noticed, but I didn't want to believe what my gut was telling me. If you're finding this story interesting so far, please take a moment to subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button and leave a comment below about a time when someone you trusted betrayed you. Your support helps us bring you more stories like this one. Tyler was unusually quiet that morning, pushing his eggs around his plate instead of eating. He kept glancing between me and his mother with this weird expression like he knew something I didn't. Kids pick up on things adults think they're hiding. I should have paid more attention to that look. Jessica grabbed her purse and keys, barely looking at me. "I'll be late tonight. Dr. Richardson needs help with some billing issues." "Again?" I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. "It's my job, Andrew." Her tone was sharp, defensive. "Someone has to help pay for Tyler's college fund." The mention of the college fund made my chest tighten. We'd been saving since Tyler was born, putting away money every month, birthday gifts from grandparents, tax refunds, everything we could spare. Last time I checked, about 6 weeks ago, we had $127,000 saved. Tyler was only 10, but we'd been aggressive about it, knowing how expensive college would be by 2033. After Jessica left, Tyler finally spoke up. "Dad, can I show you something on your computer?" "Sure, buddy. What's up?" He led me to my home office, climbed into my chair, and pulled up my laptop. His fingers moved across the keyboard with surprising confidence. Tyler had always been good with technology, taught himself basic coding from YouTube videos, spent hours on his tablet working on projects I didn't fully understand. "I need to show you something," he said, his voice serious in a way that made him sound much older than 10. "But you have to promise not to get mad at me." "Tyler, what did you do?" He pulled up a folder on my desktop I had never seen before labeled Mom's Secret. Inside were screenshots, lots of them. Text messages between Jessica and someone named Blake Sutherland. The messages made my stomach turn. They'd been seeing each other for 8 months, planning a future together, talking about places they wanted to travel once they had enough money. "How did you get these?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. "Mom leaves her phone on the kitchen counter when she showers," Tyler said matter-of-factly. "I downloaded a backup app she doesn't know about. Everything she texts gets copied to a cloud folder I can access." I stared at my 10-year-old son, this kid who still watched cartoons and played with Lego, who'd apparently been running surveillance on his own mother for months. "Tyler, this is keep looking, Dad." He scrolled to more screenshots. These were from Jessica's banking app. Transactions I'd never authorized. Transfers from our joint savings account to an account in her name only. The dates went back 6 months. Small amounts at first, $500 here, $1,000 there, then larger chunks, $10,000, $15,000, $25,000. "She's been stealing from the college fund," Tyler said quietly. "I noticed it 3 months ago when I used your laptop and your banking app was still logged in. I've been tracking every transfer since then." My hands were shaking as I scrolled through the evidence my child had collected. Jessica had systematically drained our son's college fund, moving $127,000 over 6 months into her private account. The last transfer had happened 2 days ago. The balance now showed $43. "Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. Tyler's eyes filled with tears. "I didn't want it to be true. I kept hoping Mom would stop, that maybe she was saving it somewhere else for a surprise or something. But then I read her text with Blake about buying plane tickets to Portugal, and I knew she was leaving us." I pulled my son into a hug, this brave little kid who'd been carrying this terrible secret, trying to protect both of us from the truth. We sat there for a long time, and I didn't know what to say. How do you explain to a child that his mother had chosen money and another man over her own family? The front door opened unexpectedly. Jessica walked back in and I could hear her footsteps heading toward the kitchen. Tyler and I exchanged a glance and I quickly closed the laptop. "Andrew," Jessica called out. "I forgot my work ID. Need to grab it quick." I walked out to meet her, trying to keep my expression neutral. She was rummaging through her purse, didn't even look up at me. "Everything okay?" she asked absently. "Fine," I managed. "Tyler and I were just working on some homework." She found her ID badge, glanced at her watch. "I really need to run. See you tonight, maybe." After she left, Tyler tugged on my sleeve. "Dad, I did something else." "What do you mean?" He pulled up another folder on the laptop. This one labeled Plan B. Inside were more files, documents I couldn't immediately identify. "After I figured out what Mom was doing, I started learning about financial fraud," Tyler explained, his voice taking on that too adult quality again. "I watched a bunch of videos about protecting money and digital security, and I found something interesting." He opened a PDF document. It was a bank statement, but not ours. The account belonged to Jessica Mitchell, her private account where she'd been moving our money. The current balance showed $127,043. "That's Mom's secret account," Tyler said. "But here's the thing, Dad. 3 days ago, I did something." My stomach dropped. "Tyler, what did you do?" "I created a cryptocurrency wallet," he said, pulling up another screen. "Then I used Mom's laptop when she was sleeping and accessed her banking. She keeps all her passwords in a notes app on her phone and I already had access to that. I initiated a transfer from her secret account to the crypto wallet." I stared at the screen, not fully understanding what I was seeing. Numbers, codes, transaction records. "You stole the money back?" I asked, not sure whether to be horrified or impressed. "Technically, it was our money," Tyler said. "She stole it first. I just moved it somewhere she can't get it. The crypto wallet is in your name, Dad." "Well, sort of. I used your information, but a different email address I set up. Mom won't be able to trace it or reverse the transaction." "Tyler, this is the transfer completed this morning," he continued, speaking faster now. "She probably hasn't checked her account yet, but when she does, she's going to see that $127,000 is gone. All of it. And there's no way to get it back because cryptocurrency transactions are permanent." I sat down heavily in my desk chair. My 10-year-old son had just described committing what sounded like multiple felonies, all to protect our family from his mother's betrayal. "Show me everything," I said finally. "Every screenshot, every transaction, every piece of evidence you collected." For the next 3 hours, Tyler walked me through his investigation. He'd been methodical, documenting everything with timestamps and details. The text messages showed Jessica and Blake planning their escape, talking about starting fresh in Portugal, where the cost of living was cheaper. They'd discussed selling her car, closing her credit cards, disappearing completely once they had enough money. The financial records showed the systematic theft. Jessica had been careful at first, moving small amounts, probably testing whether I'd notice. When I didn't catch on, she got bolder. The final transfer of $40,000 had happened just 48 hours ago. "There's more," Tyler said, pulling up another folder. "I also found out about Blake." Blake Sutherland was 33, worked as a personal trainer at the gym where Jessica had supposedly been taking evening fitness classes for the past year. He had a criminal record, fraud charges from 5 years ago that resulted in probation. He'd been married twice before, both marriages ending badly with accusations of financial abuse. "Mom has terrible taste in men," Tyler said with the blunt honesty only a child can deliver. That evening, Jessica came home around 9 p.m. later than she'd said. She looked flushed, excited about something. Tyler and I were sitting at the kitchen table, both of us pretending to work on homework. "Hey, you two," she said, her voice artificially bright. "Sorry I'm so late. Dr. Richardson needed extra help with the quarterly reports." "No problem," I said, keeping my voice even. "How was your day?" "Busy, exhausting." She poured herself a glass of wine, drank half of it in one swallow. "I'm going to head up for a bath. Long day." After she went upstairs, Tyler whispered, "Should we tell her?" "Not yet," I said. "Let's see what happens when she checks her account." We didn't have to wait long. Around 11 p.m., I was in bed pretending to read when I heard Jessica's voice from the bathroom. "What? What the hell?" She burst into the bedroom, her phone clutched in her hand, her face pale. "Andrew, something's wrong with my bank account." "What kind of wrong?" I asked, setting down my book. "The money?" She stopped herself, realizing what she was about to admit. "There's been some kind of error. A major error." "What money, Jessica?" She stared at me, trapped by her own words. "My personal account, the one I use for my own expenses. Someone stole from it." "How much?" Her jaw tightened. "That's not really your concern, is it?" "It's my private account, right?" I said carefully. "Your private account? The one you funded by stealing from our son's college fund?" The color drained from her face completely. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do. Tyler found all your transactions, Jessica. Every transfer, every text message with Blake, everything. She sat down on the edge of the bed, her hands shaking. Andrew, I can explain. Can you explain why you stole $127,000 from your own child? Can you explain why you've been planning to abandon your family for some deadbeat with a criminal record? Tears started running down her face, but they looked more like panic than remorse. Who has my money? Where did it go? The bank says the transfer is irreversible. I don't know. I lied. Maybe the universe has a sense of justice. This isn't funny, Andrew. That money she stopped again. Was what was stolen from us in the first place. Jessica stood up, pacing the room. I need that money. Blake and I have plans. We're leaving next week. Everything is already arranged. The casual way she said it, like she was discussing a vacation rather than abandoning her family, made something inside me snap. You're not going anywhere with that money, I said. Because it's gone, and I'm filing for divorce first thing tomorrow morning. Tyler deserves better than a mother who would steal from him. You can't keep me from my son, she said, her voice rising. I'm not keeping you from anyone. You made your choice when you chose Blake and his Portugal fantasy over your own child. Jessica grabbed her phone, started making calls, first to her bank, demanding they reverse the transaction, then to Blake, her voice hysterical as she explained that the money was gone. I could hear his anger through the phone, his accusations that she'd messed everything up. The next morning, Jessica was gone. She'd packed a bag during the night and left without saying goodbye to Tyler. Her note on the kitchen counter was brief. I need time to think. Don't try to contact me. Tyler found the note when he came down for breakfast. He read it, crumpled it up, and threw it in the trash. Good riddance, he said, his voice steady. Tyler, she chose him over us, Dad. We're better off without her. I couldn't argue with that logic, even coming from a 10-year-old. 2 days later, my phone rang. Jessica's name lit up the screen. I considered not answering, but curiosity got the better of me. Andrew, please, I need your help, she said without preamble. Her voice was desperate, ragged with crying. What's wrong? Blake left me. After the money disappeared, he said I was useless to him. He'd only been with me for the money. And now the bank is investigating the transfers from the college fund account. They're saying it looks like embezzlement because it was a custodial account for Tyler. I could face charges. I felt nothing but cold satisfaction. You should face charges, Jessica. You stole from your own child. Please, Andrew. I made a terrible mistake. Multiple mistakes. But I'm still Tyler's mother. I need help. The bank wants documentation of where the money went. If I can't explain it, they're involving the police. That sounds like your problem, not mine. What about Tyler? Don't you care what this will do to him if his mother goes to prison? What it will do to him? Tyler is the one who discovered your theft. He's the one who protected us from your betrayal. He's shown more maturity in the past week than you've shown in your entire life. Silence on the other end. Then quietly. Tyler knew. Tyler knew everything. He documented everything. He's been watching you for months, hoping you'd stop, hoping you'd change your mind. And when you didn't, he took action. What kind of action? The kind that made sure you couldn't destroy our lives completely. Another long silence. Did Tyler take the money? Tyler is 10 years old, Jessica. But he's smart enough to know that sometimes you have to protect yourself from the people who are supposed to protect you. I need to talk to him. I need to explain. There's nothing to explain. You chose another man and money over your family. Tyler understands that perfectly. He doesn't need your explanations or your excuses. Andrew, please. I know I don't deserve it, but I'm begging you. Help me figure out what happened to that money. If I go to prison, Tyler loses his mother. Tyler lost his mother the day you decided Blake Sutherland was more important than your own son. I hung up. The phone rang again immediately, but I didn't answer. It rang 17 more times that day. I blocked the number. That evening, Tyler and I sat down with a laptop again. We need to talk about the money, I said. Are you mad? He asked, his confidence from earlier fading. I should be. What you did was technically illegal, even if the money was ours to begin with. But I'm not mad, Tyler. I'm impressed and a little scared of how smart you are. He grinned, relieved. So, what do we do with it? We're going to do the right thing, I said. We're going to convert that cryptocurrency back to regular money, put it into a proper custodial account that only I can access, and save it for your college, just like it was always meant to be. What about Mom? What if she comes back? Your mother made her choice. Now she has to live with the consequences. Over the next few weeks, things moved fast. I filed for divorce, citing abandonment and financial fraud. My lawyer was a woman named Patricia Hoffman, who had handled several high-asset divorces and had a reputation for being ruthless when necessary. This is one of the more clear-cut cases I've seen, Patricia said after reviewing Tyler's evidence. Your wife systematically stole from a custodial account, which is a serious crime. She also abandoned the family. You'll get full custody. No question. The only issue is whether you want to press criminal charges. I thought about that. Part of me wanted Jessica to face real consequences for what she'd done. But another part, the part that was still Tyler's father, knew that having his mother in prison would damage him in ways I couldn't predict. Let's hold that option in reserve, I said. If she fights the divorce or tries to go after custody, then we press charges. Otherwise, I just want her out of our lives. Jessica didn't fight. She signed the divorce papers without argument, probably because her lawyer explained exactly how much trouble she was in. The settlement gave me full custody, the house, and all marital assets. Jessica got nothing except the agreement that we wouldn't press charges if she disappeared quietly. She took the deal. Last I heard, she was living in Arizona, working as a receptionist at a chiropractic office, sharing an apartment with 2 roommates. Blake Sutherland was long gone, probably moved on to his next victim. Sometimes karma works exactly the way it should. Tyler adjusted surprisingly well to the new normal. We sold the house, too many memories, and moved to a smaller place closer to his school. I cut back my work hours to be more available for him. We started having dinner together every baza night, talking about his day, his interests, his worries. One evening about 2 months after Jessica left, Tyler was working on his laptop at the kitchen table while I cooked dinner. He looked up suddenly and said, "Dad, I need to tell you something." My stomach clenched. "What is it?" "I didn't just move the money to protect it," he said slowly. "I also moved it because I was angry at Mom. Like really angry. I wanted her to hurt the way she hurt us." I turned off the stove and sat down across from him. "Tyler, that's a completely normal way to feel. But it wasn't right," he continued. "What Mom did was wrong. But what I did was kind of wrong too. I took something that wasn't mine to take, even if she'd stolen it first. 2 wrongs don't make a right. That's what you always say." "You're right." I agreed. "But you were also protecting your family. Sometimes we have to make hard choices, and not all of them are going to be perfect. What matters is what we learn from them." "I learned that I never want to be like Mom," Tyler said firmly. "I never want to lie to people I love or steal from them or choose money over family." "Then you've learned the most important lesson," I said. "And Tyler, I'm proud of you. Not for what you did with the money, but for how you handled discovering the truth. A lot of kids would have fallen apart. You stayed strong." His eyes got watery. "I was scared, Dad. Really scared. I thought if Mom left, you might leave too. That maybe I'd end up in foster care or something." I pulled him into a hug. "I'm never leaving you, buddy. Never. We're a team, you and me. We look out for each other." "Forever?" he asked, his voice muffled against my shoulder. I promised. 3 months later, I got an unexpected call from Patricia Hoffman. "Andrew, you need to hear this. Jessica filed a petition to modify the custody arrangement. She wants visitation rights." "What?" "She signed away her rights. She signed a temporary agreement. Legally, she can petition for modification after 6 months. Her lawyer is arguing that she's completed anger management therapy and financial counseling. They're saying she's a changed person who deserves a relationship with her son." "Absolutely not." I said. "She abandoned him, Patricia. She stole from him." "I know, and we have all the documentation to prove it. But a judge might still grant supervised visitation. Courts generally favor maintaining parental relationships when possible." I felt sick. After everything Jessica had done, after all the progress Tyler had made, now she wanted to waltz back into his life. "What does Tyler want?" Patricia asked. That was the question, wasn't it? I'd been so focused on protecting Tyler that I hadn't asked him what he actually wanted. That evening, I sat him down and explained the situation. Tyler listened carefully, his face serious. "What do you think?" I asked. "Do you want to see your mother?" He was quiet for a long time. "Can I ask you something first?" "Anything." "If I say yes, will you be mad at me? And if I say no, will that make me a bad person?" "Tyler, neither answer would make you bad or make me mad. This is your choice. Your feelings matter more than anything else." He chewed on his lip, thinking. "I don't know if I want to see her. Part of me misses Mom, the way she used to be before Blake. But another part of me remembers how she looked at me the morning she left, like I was just something in her way. I don't know if I can forget that." "You don't have to decide right now," I said. "We can tell the judge you need more time to think about it." "No," Tyler said suddenly. "I want to decide now. I want to see her once just to hear what she has to say. But Dad, I need you to be there. I don't want to be alone with her." "Of course, whatever you need." The supervised visitation was arranged for 2 weeks later at a neutral location, a family counseling center with a therapist present. Jessica arrived early, looking nervous. She'd lost weight, looked tired, older somehow. Tyler and I walked in together, his hand gripping mine tightly. When Jessica saw him, tears immediately filled her eyes. "Tyler, honey, you look so grown up," she said, taking a step toward him. He didn't move closer. "Hi, Mom." The therapist, a woman named Dr. Sarah Chen, directed us all to sit. The room was designed to be comfortable. Soft chairs, warm lighting, but the tension was suffocating. "Tyler," Dr. Chen said gently, "your mother has asked for this meeting because she wants to talk to you, but this is your time. You can say as much or as little as you want. You can ask questions or just listen. Whatever feels right to you." Tyler looked at his mother. "Why did you leave?" Jessica's composure cracked immediately. "I made terrible choices, sweetheart. I got confused about what mattered. I thought I wanted something different, something exciting, but I was wrong. So wrong. You took my college money," Tyler said flatly. "You were going to leave the country and never see me again. I know. I know I did those things and I'll regret them for the rest of my life. I was selfish and cruel, and you deserved so much better. Did you ever love me?" The question was asked with such simple honesty that it broke my heart. "Of course, I love you," Jessica said, reaching toward him. "I've always loved you. I just lost my way for a while, but I'm getting help now. I'm seeing a therapist, taking medication for depression I didn't know I had. I'm trying to become the mother you deserved all along." Tyler pulled back from her reaching hand. "But you're not that mother yet, are you? You're just someone who looks like my mom but made really bad choices." "Tyler," I started, but he held up his hand. "No, Dad, I need to say this." He turned back to Jessica. "You hurt me really bad, Mom, and you hurt Dad even worse. You stole from us and lied to us and chose some other guy over your own family. That's not something a sorry can fix." "I know," Jessica whispered, "but can you give me a chance to try? Please, let me show you I can be better." Tyler looked at me, then at Dr. Chen, then back at his mother. "Maybe someday, but not now. I'm not ready. I need more time to stop being angry at you." Jessica nodded, tears streaming down her face. Okay, that's fair. Will you think about maybe seeing me again in a few months?" "Maybe," Tyler said. "But Mom, if you really love me like you say, then respect that I need space. Don't push me. Let me come to you when I'm ready." "I will," she promised. "I'll wait as long as it takes." After the session, Tyler and I walked to the car in silence. Once we were inside, he let out a long breath. "How do you feel?" I asked. "Weird," he said. "Like I just talked to a stranger who happened to look like Mom." "Is that normal?" "Let normal. She changed." "Tyler, people do that sometimes. For better or worse, you're allowed to feel however you feel about that. I don't think I want to see her again for a while." He said, "Is that okay?" "It's more than okay. It's your decision, and I'll support whatever you choose." He smiled at me. That grin that reminded me he was still just a kid, despite everything he'd been through. "Thanks, Dad, for everything. For believing me. For protecting me. For not leaving like she did. Always, buddy, always." 6 months passed. Tyler thrived in school, made new friends, joined the coding club. The college fund was back to $127,000 properly secured in an account Jessica couldn't touch. We'd even added to it small amounts from my improved business and Tyler's odd jobs mowing lawns. Jessica sent birthday cards and Christmas presents, always with notes asking if Tyler was ready to talk. He wasn't. Maybe someday he would be, or maybe he wouldn't. Either way, we'd handle it together. One evening, Tyler was showing me a new program he'd written, something about encrypting messages. As I watched him work, I realized that what Jessica's betrayal had taken from us in trust and innocence, it had given back in strength and resilience. My son had learned at 10 years old that sometimes the people you love most can hurt you worst. But he'd also learned that he could survive that hurt, that he could protect himself and the people who mattered. Those were lessons most people didn't learn until much later in life, if at all. "Dad," Tyler said, looking up from his computer, "do you think Mom will ever actually change? Like really change?" "I don't know," I answered honestly. "Some people do, some people don't. But here's what I know for sure. Whether she changes or not isn't your responsibility. You don't have to fix her or forgive her or make her feel better about what she did. You just have to keep being you. Keep growing. Keep becoming the person you want to be." "I want to be like you," he said simply. "Someone who doesn't run away when things get hard." I pulled him close, grateful for this remarkable kid who'd somehow managed to stay good despite having every reason not to. "You're already that person, Tyler. You've always been that person." As for Jessica, I heard through mutual acquaintances that she'd moved back to Minnesota, was working as a dental hygienist again at a different practice. She'd apparently ended things with Blake Sutherland after he'd scammed her out of what little money she had left. Sometimes karma doesn't need any help from us. It knows how to do its job just fine. The college fund sits there growing slowly but steadily. In 8 years, Tyler will need it. He's already talking about studying computer science. Wants to work in cybersecurity. I'm not surprised. He's always been good at protecting people from threats they don't see coming. Sometimes late at night when I'm reviewing my accounts and making sure everything is secure, I think about that morning when Tyler showed me all his evidence. This 10-year-old kid who'd taken on the responsibility of saving his family when the adults around him had failed. He'd collected evidence with the patience of a detective. He'd moved money with the precision of a professional hacker. He'd protected his father from devastating financial ruin and then had the wisdom to know when to speak up and when to stay silent. Most importantly, he'd learned that sometimes doing the right thing means doing something technically wrong. That protecting your family isn't always about following every rule. It's about having the courage to act when action is necessary. I'm not saying what Tyler did was perfect or legal or even something I'd recommend to other parents dealing with similar situations, but in our specific circumstances, his actions saved us. They gave us back control of our lives when Jessica's betrayal had threatened to destroy everything. And in the end, isn't that what family is supposed to do? Protect each other, even when that protection comes from unexpected places. If this story resonated with you, if it made you think about the nature of betrayal, family, and the surprising strength children can show in crisis, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Subscribe to the channel for more real stories about ordinary people facing extraordinary challenges. And leave a comment below. I read every single one, and your insights often help other viewers who are going through similar situations. Remember, no matter how dark things seem, there's always a way forward. Sometimes that way forward comes from the most unexpected sources, like a 10-year-old boy who loved his father enough to become his protector. Am I?